thyroid eye disease. And things are a no-go because you keep seeing double. Or your bloodshot eyes have you seeing red. It might be time to discover another treatment option for thyroid eye disease, also known as TED. To learn more, visit treatted.com. That's treatted.com.
Tomorrow on ET, Inside Al Roker's Today Show return. His moment is here.
We got to go, y'all, and get ready to host, but join us tomorrow for all the backstage exclusive with the stars here at the Palm Springs International Film Awards.
Yes.
Can't wait to see Danielle Deadweiler.
No, you love her. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
So let's go from Palm Springs to Paris because we leave you now with bloopers from season 3 of Emily in Paris. Team Alfie. Night, everybody.
And when's the stuff? Sorry.
That has to go on.
Happening now.
Coming up, KSAT investigates with the footage of an Edgewood ISD police officer kneeling on the neck of a teenager. The controversial police maneuver on full display for the public.
This sunshine isn't going to last all the way into the weekend. We actually have a little bit of dampness headed our way. But what about real rain? We're going to talk about it in just a bit.
And coming up, a preview of some of the newest high-tech gadgets from the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. The news at 5 starts right now. And first at 5, a fiery and fatal crash involving an 18-wheeler on the northeast side. San Antonio police now investigating that wreck.
Yeah, police have been at the scene since about noon when that crash initially happened. This is at the southbound 410 ramp at I-35 near Kirby. Our Alyssa Cole joined us live from the scene now. Alyssa, do we know what caused that truck to flip over?
Well, Steve, investigators are still trying to figure that out, but we want to show you what this area looks like right now. The 410 southbound ramp is still closed, but that access road for I-35 has just opened a few moments ago. Traffic has cleared up a little bit since then, but let's tell you more about the incident that's happened here. So we do know the driver of the 18-wheeler lost control, causing it to flip on its side and burst into flames. San Antonio police arrived within minutes of the crash. They tell us officers at the scene and witnesses helped rescue the driver. Unfortunately, the passenger was unable to be saved and he died after he became trapped in the wreckage. The medical examiner is currently working to identify that person. Right now, crews are working to clear out this area and it will be shut down for several hours.
Right now, our traffic investigation detail, our traffic units are out here working the scene vigilantly to get it cleaned up. It is still very dangerous and very active.
Now, that driver has minor injuries and he was treated here at the scene. And again, we'll keep you updated as crews continue to clean up this area. Just a reminder, if you're preparing to travel on the 410 southbound ramp, it is still closed right now during this rush hour period. So police, of course, are urging drivers to take a detour, take an alternate route if you can. Alyssa Cole, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alyssa. Was it excessive force? A fight off campus ends with an Edgewood School District police officer intervening and putting his knee on the neck of a teenager.
KSAT investigates. Dylan Collier got a hold of that footage and breaks down the controversial recent history of this maneuver. And a warning, this story may not be suitable for all viewers.
The 1-minute, 5-second clip recorded November 11th begins with an unidentified Edgewood Independent School District police officer chasing a teenager through the parking lot of this Pizza Hut in the 1800 block of South General McMullen. The lot, less than a block from Kennedy High School. The footage shows the officer and teen grappling on the ground before the teen assaults the officer, punching him multiple times. As a second Edgewood officer joins the fray, the teen is rolled onto his stomach, and the first officer places his right knee on his neck, where it remains for the final 10 seconds of the video.
It's jarring.
Ananda Thomas, executive director for Act for SA, a local police accountability group, says the footage is the latest example of local law enforcement being violent toward young people.
He's already restrained. There's no need to be cutting off his airway or the circulation to his brain.
The images for Thomas,
I can breathe.
sadly reminiscent of the last moments of the life of George Floyd, who died beneath the weight of the same type of neck restraint while face down in a Minneapolis street in May 2020.
It brings back a lot of trauma from seeing that video of George Floyd, but this is a child.
Edgewood officials have not named this officer or released any significant details about this encounter, telling us in a written statement, quote, "We are currently investigating the incident. More info will be given once the investigation is complete. No word on when that will be." For KSAT Investigates, I'm Dylan Collier.
The University of Texas firing head basketball coach Chris Beard effective immediately.
And this comes less than a month after he was arrested on felony domestic violence charges out of Austin. Let's go now to our Greg Simmons here in the studio.
All right, Beard had 5 years left on a 7-year contract that paid him $5 million a year, but also contained a clause that said he could be fired if arrested on felony charges. Beard was arrested back on December the 12th at his home in Austin after his fiancee told police he choked her, bit her, and hit her after she broke his glasses. She would later recant her story through an attorney, saying she never told police he choked her and that she did not want him to have arrested or prosecuted. Beard has been suspended without pay since his arrest, and assistant Ronnie Terry has been leading the team that is now 12-2 overall, 1-1 in the Big 12. Beard was hired by UT in 2021 after leading Texas Tech to the NCAA Tournament Championship game in 2019. Here's a release from Chris Del Conte, the athletics director of the University of Texas, has parted ways with Chris Beard. This has been a difficult situation that we have been diligently working through. Today, I informed Mr. Beard of our decision to terminate him effective immediately. We thank Coach Rodney Terry for his exemplary leadership, both on and off the court at a time when our team needed it the most. We are grateful he will remain the acting head coach for the remainder of the season. As far as the prosecution on the charges, the Travis County District Attorney's Office released a statement to ESPN that says, in part, that the matter is still under review. An encouraging update on DeMar Hamlin. Got that for you coming up in sports.
All right, thank you, Greg. New at 5, the bar where District 10 City Councilman Clayton Perry drank before he was involved in a hit-and-run crash is now being investigated. The TABC has confirmed to KSAT that agents are investigating the Evil Olive. The agency says that agents are looking into allegations of over-serving, but there are no findings right now. Perry got into a car crash just 30 minutes after leaving that bar. An arrest affidavit says that Perry drank 14 drinks in 4 hours at that bar. He was officially charged with DWI last month and is currently on leave from the city council.
Is some video of an unusual looking fire at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery going viral online. This is video that was taken Tuesday and shared on TikTok. You can see the flames off in the distance lit up in the form of a circle, it seems, surrounding several headstones. The San Antonio Fire Department tells us they were called to the cemetery Tuesday night for a grass fire. Crews arrived to find 37 headstones affected and about 200 plots in all. Most of the headstones were covered in soot, and according to the San Antonio Fire Department, there did not seem to be any real damage. As for the cause, they believe it was started by a candle that was lit and likely left unattended.
An update now on a fatal shooting from earlier this week. A man shot to death north of downtown has now been identified as Preston Gilmow. He was 48 years old. He was found dead on West Euclid Avenue Tuesday night, not far from North Flores Street and I-35. It's unclear what led to this shooting, and at last check, no one has been arrested.
2 San Antonio police officers on administrative duty tonight after shooting a man at a West Side motel. It happened last night on Calabar Road near Northwest 18th Street, not far from Woodlawn Lake. Officers responded to a report of a man waving a gun at people at the Luxury Inn. According to SAPD, it wasn't until 2 hours after the initial visit that they confronted him in his room. They tell us when the man opened the door, he had a gun pointed at the officer. The officer fired, hitting him. He's in the hospital in critical condition. Both officers are 6-year veterans of the force.
President Joe Biden getting ready for an upcoming visit to the border. He's expected to outline plans to address the record number of migrants trying to enter the U.S. As Karen Kafa explains, President Biden is also calling on Congress to make moves now to help out the situation.
President Joe Biden laying out new plans to stem a massive influx of migrants at the U.S. southern border that his Homeland Security Secretary said this week is straining the system.
I know it's a complicated issue, I don't want to pretend there's anything easy about it.
The U.S. will accept up to 30,000 migrants per month from Nicaragua, Cuba, Haiti, and Venezuela in an expansion of the so-called humanitarian parole program. Those migrants must apply for U.S. entry before leaving their home countries. Those who do not come to the U.S. under that program may be expelled under Title 42, the Trump-era policy that allows immigration authorities to swiftly return some migrants to Mexico and remains in place after a Supreme Court order last month as legal challenges continue.
In the meantime, my administration will continue to use that authority as the Supreme Court has required.
Biden's remarks are ahead of a visit to El Paso, Texas Sunday, his first to the U.S. southern border as president and en route to a leaders summit in Mexico City where migration will be discussed. He called on Congress to pass sweeping immigration reform, arguing his executive powers can only do so much. It's an area where he faces criticism even from some border state Democrats, but especially the GOP. But right now, the House remains mired in an internal Republican fight over a speaker.
On the big stuff, we all agree, right? We want to secure the border. We don't want the executive branch to do everything through a pen and a phone.
Until a House Speaker is elected, no members of either party can be sworn in, no committees can be seated, and no legislation can be introduced. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
And as she just said, still no House Speaker. Looks like that Republican fight for power will keep going on as the House faces day 3 of voting, while Kevin McCarthy gets his 10th loss in a row.
20 conservative members refused to support him, even with attempting to make new deals over the last couple of days. One of those deals being an offer to change the House rules, such as allowing a single lawmaker to force a vote to remove him.
One of our 3 branches of government offline right now. That is a very dangerous thing for our country, and it cannot continue much longer.
Representatives on the opposing side question the unity of House Republicans right now. The standstill stops lawmakers' abilities to do the work that the American people elected them to do. Let's take a look back here at home at that traffic situation we told you at the top of the show. We were going to show you earlier 410 and 35 where that fiery wreck was, the aftermath of that, but looks like the TransGuide camera's been switched here. I-10 at the Y where there are no problems on both the upper and lower level going in and out of downtown.
We do have a traffic trouble spot we want to tell you to avoid tomorrow. TxDOT says Loop 1604 at Gold Canyon will be closed in both directions tomorrow night at 9 until Monday morning. Crews are going to be doing some bridge repairs following a crash last week. TxDOT says 281 connector ramps to eastbound Loop 1604 will also be closed. You're going to have to use the frontage road, and if you can't avoid the area, expect a delay.
Another big temperature spread today. We started off this morning at 43 degrees. Then by the afternoon, we were up to 75. Another one of the days where we had to dress in layers. But short sleeves are A-OK outside right now. Near 80 in Eagle Pass. 76 currently in Lakey and 76 Floresville. Even Santa Maria at 75. Meanwhile, Mico, 71. So fairly comfortable temperatures out there right now. Cooling quickly, though. Even in just a few hours, we'll be down in the lower 60s. Then by 10 o'clock, dipping down into the upper 50s. Mostly clear again tonight, but we will likely have some fog greet us tomorrow morning. Even thicker fog just around the corner as humidity returns, giving us some dampness and an update to our rain chances we'll dive into in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Adam. They are the products of the future, and soon you might be able to get your hands on them. We're talking things like a robotic lawnmower, even a self-driving stroller. What? If these sound cool, there's a lot more surprises. A preview of what you can expect at this year's Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. It's next at 5. Tonight at 6, shock and sadness after the death of a local bar owner who impacted so many people and businesses along the St. Mary's Strip, especially helping keep those businesses alive during the pandemic. Close friends reacting to the sudden death of Blaine Tucker. RJ Marquez tells us more about Tucker's life and why he was a driving force by helping keeping those businesses stay afloat during the pandemic.
Plus, Guadalupe County is growing fast, and first responders, they have to keep up. So the county now has its first ever full-time fire rescue squad. We're going to tell you about the agency's long-term plan to keep that growing community safe.
What will they think of next? You can't help but ask that when you see the thousands of robots and futuristic gadgets unveiled at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz shows us what's new and what's next.
Innovation, some of it pretty quirky, is on display. This is the massive CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. Sure, robots are fun, but the main theme is serious.
And that's technology that's being used to solve some of the world's biggest challenges,
such as food supplies. John Deere unveiled a robotic fertilizer. It reduces costs and chemicals. For the home turf, though, there's this dandy robot. It roams your lawn and kills weeds. There are even smart lawn sprinklers. Here's a bright idea, Nanoleaf's smart light switch.
It learns your light habits, and so it knows when you want it dark, it knows when you need it bright.
And you don't lift a finger. TVs are getting smarter too, and now LG is out with a big 4K screen that's totally wireless. Even the bath mat has gone smart.
You stand on it, and it does a full body analysis.
There are plenty of gadgets and gizmos for cars, like this Nextbase IQ Smart Dash Cam. One camera points out, the other in.
If it senses sound or motion while you're not there, you'll get alerted on your cell phone. And then the camera turns on and you can see what's happening.
For parents, how about a self-driving stroller? And this product is a real talker, the Time Kettle.
These are real-time translating earbuds.
One for your ear, one for the other person, and you can converse in 40 languages. And for parents who don't know why the baby is crying, there's a smart translator for that, too. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Look outside with Sky 12 flying high above the city. Beautiful day, but another day for lots of layers.
Yeah, it was a chilly start this morning.
Yeah, another day with that big temperature spread of a good 30 degrees. And by the way, you notice that little bit of haze in the sky. Personally, I think a lot of that's the cedar that's in the air.
Yuck.
I know the mountain cedar count did drop a little bit today, but it's still high at 3,000 or 4,000 and change. So we're still dealing with it. And the wind will be out of the north again on Sunday, so expect a big mountain cedar hike then. Humidity, it's going to return on Saturday, very briefly though. However, it's really going to impact the first half of your weekend on your Saturday. Some dampness, drizzle, and a weak cold front sweeps it away. And that's really what we're going to be facing here into the weekend. Let's take a look at our rain chances. Nothing tomorrow, just a little bit of morning fog. Nothing tomorrow night. It's Saturday. I boosted us up to 60%, but this comes with a caveat. Don't get excited about it. We're talking less than 1/10 of an inch, probably less than 0.05 of an inch for most of us. It's going to be drizzle, sprinkles, nuisance moisture. That just doesn't add up to a whole lot. Then Saturday night, 30% chance, and that's mainly east of San Antonio, lingering into Sunday morning when it tapers off. So here's the big picture. Clear skies out there right now. It's going to be clear tonight, and other than the fog tomorrow morning, good amount of sunshine. That big system we've been watching coming onshore right now, starting to fall apart a little bit. Parts of the upper level low veering off toward British Columbia, and the rest of it, moisture, of course, still coming onshore into the western U.S. Now, we're going to see a little dip here that's going to push eastward and help generate a new low pressure system and basically that weak cold front that's going to be affecting us on Saturday night. So here's our futurecast, fast forwarding to Saturday. Notice 6 a.m. the low clouds, and here's the key here. You know, we've been talking for days a drizzly, damp Saturday morning. Well, now we've got model representation of it. These little bright green spots just dotting the radar screen here and there, indicating sprinkles, drizzle, a light shower if you're lucky, but enough to just make everything damp and wet. The roads, the trails, sidewalks, just overall wet and damp from that activity, but not adding up to much. By Saturday evening and Saturday night, we do have a few thunderstorms possible, especially east of San Antonio. All right, let's talk temperatures and dew points. 72 right now, dew point of 33. That's important because still a lack of mugginess in the air, but let's go forward in time and you'll see the dew points start to rise throughout the day tomorrow. The wind comes out of the south-southeast. By 10 a.m., dew points in the 50s. Then we get to Saturday morning, and it's downright muggy outside. Dew points in the lower 60s. You'll feel that hint of humidity in the air just for one day, though. That weak cold front sweeps it away by Sunday and for pretty much all of next week. And right now, 76 in Devine, 70 in Bulverde, 76 Comfort. Officially in town here, we're at 72 degrees. And by tomorrow morning, upper 40s. So not all that different from the past few days. Rio Medina 46, 48 Converse, 48 Canyon Lake, and around San Antonio 48. By the afternoon, we'll be into the mid 70s. We'll shake free from that morning fog, have a good amount of sunshine, and pretty much all of us looking at 70s tomorrow afternoon. A little bit cooler Sunday, 68. But otherwise, it's just more of the same next week. Dress in layers.
Okay, thank you, Adam.
All right, we've got a breaking sports story right now about one of the Spurs stars.
Yeah, Devin Vassell is going to have arthroscopic surgery in that left knee that's been bothering him, causing him to miss a couple of games here recently. When we come back, more about that. Also, winless coming out of New York, and the San Antonio Brahmas release their schedule coming up. Our San Antonio Spurs return home after going winless in New York, blown out by Brooklyn on Monday and then failing to close out against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden last night. That's after they fought back from a 13-point deficit in the first quarter to have a chance to win. Josh Richardson's three-pointers in the second quarter helped tie the game up at 55 all. Then in the second half, Keldon Johnson caught fire in the third quarter to score 13 of his 26 points. And this jumper gave the Spurs a one-point lead in the fourth quarter. After going down by 3, the Spurs had 2 chances to force overtime. But Jeremy Sohan was called for a 5-second violation right here, even though they had a timeout, and then could not get a shot off in time at the end of the game, and they fall 117-114.
I'm not going to talk about individual plays here. Everybody makes mistakes throughout the game. Players, coaches. We didn't lose the game because of something that Jeremy did.
Next up against Detroit, that will be on Friday, but it'll be without Devin Vassell, who's out indefinitely with arthroscopic surgery scheduled for next Wednesday on his left knee.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
More encouraging news coming from Buffalo Bills today when it comes to the health of safety Damar Hamlin. Per the physicians caring for Damar Hamlin at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, Damar has shown remarkable improvement over the past 24 hours. While still critically ill, he has demonstrated that he appears to be neurologically intact. His lungs continue to heal, and he's making steady progress. The statement ends with, "We are grateful for the love and support we have received." With just one game left of the regular season against the Commanders in Washington on Sunday, the Dallas Cowboys not only have the opportunity to win the NFC East, but the number 1 seed in the NFC, depending on what happens to the Eagles and the 49ers. For running back Ezekiel Elliott, how does the team approach this game knowing it could be his last season wearing the star?
We approach it like every other game. We're looking to get a win, build some confidence, to build some momentum going into these playoffs. You definitely want to had the opportunity to improve our seeding and a chance at winning the division. But we just want to handle all our business and do what we need to do to make sure we're putting our best foot forward heading into the playoffs.
All right, we'll see what happens. The San Antonio Brahmas releasing their schedule, their first ever season in the XFL. They'll start on St. Louis on Sunday, February the 19th. That game live on KSAT 12 to kick it all off, followed by Orlando, Houston, Seattle, and Arlington. In fact, there'll be back-to-back games versus Arlington at Arlington. That'll be live on KSAT 12 as well, followed by Las Vegas, Houston, Orlando, and D.C. to wrap it up. Also live right here on KSAT 12, since ABC, ESPN have the rights to the game.
But they open up at home.
They sure do.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
You got it.
We'll be right back. All right, now we have a look at the aftermath of that wreck involving an 18-wheeler earlier today. It has been like this for hours. I-35 at Ben Zingelman here. You can see it's all shut down as investigators are still trying to figure out what happened that led to one person being killed in this fiery crash.
Yeah, and you can actually see the burnt grass off to the side. It looks like a construction zone, though. What they're really trying to do is just clean up this area so they can get the ramp back open.
We'll keep an eye on it. Thanks for watching the News at 5.
World News up next. See you back here at 6.